told the weather outside is not that cold, and if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia.
Hello and welcome to Country with Celine. I'm your host, Celine Schmarkey, and today we welcome Steve Newsome.
Call it a cold beer communion. Smoking a smoke, spirits are flowing like hallelujah. Yeah, we make a little toast and we raise them high. Just some good old boys, I'll try to lighten the road.
Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Celine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Okay, so your latest single, Simple Things. Explain to us, how did it all happen? How did you think of this song and how did it come to life?
Well, it wasn't a thought of mine really. It was pitched to us through Bart McKay. He's our producer on this program here for the last 5 or 6 songs. So he had this song come across to him, and we were looking to do some more recording and something to fit into the little gap that we had right now with coming out of COVID. And well, at the time when we recorded, it wasn't even coming out of it. We're still stuck in the depths of it. So we had the challenges that we had with Cold Beer Communion as well, figuring out how we were going to do all the recording and aspect, right? Because having certain people in the room and certain distances and all that. So and this one here was a little tougher again because the COVID got locked down even harder towards the end of the spring, summer.
Yeah.
And that was kind of right where we were hoping to fill the void in the next song that we were going to be putting out. So we were looking for maybe a little bit more upbeat because Cold Beer Communion was a little bit more melodic, I guess, or lower tempoed, and it was just a good, communal song, I guess, for the lack of communion being involved in it as well. But it was more of a darker song, I guess. And this one here, we wanted to try to bring it up and liven it up a little bit. And we were going into summer. And Bart had sent this over to us around Easter there in the spring. And, we were right off the bat, I tried to make a point of not listening to or not reading the, who's written the songs or anything like that. I just, cold off the press and just listen to it and write out. And right off the bat, it was very catchy tune and very, very in tune of what we were going through with COVID and everything like that. Just simplifying things and let's not complicate it. So, we had listened to it a couple of times and I was, passing around some ears that are critiques of mine and they all came back with positive reviews of it. So we took it to the next step and looked at the songwriters, and it was written by TJ and Josh Osborne and Derek Rattan. So, we had our qualifying for Canadian content, which was good. And then, Derek's a super songwriter, and both the Osborne brothers, they've got their success written for them already. So it was a great tune, and we're really happy that we were able to record it.
We don't gotta make it so complicated. What you say, baby? We get back to basics tonight. Let's see how it feels, one arm on the wheel with you sitting right by me, singing all night long at the top of your lungs, a song about you and me.
Well, I really hope another lockdown doesn't happen again, because that would just be horrible for everybody. We've been through so much. And like you were saying about COVID last year, it really made you appreciate the simple things. It really did, because before that, we were kind of always go, go, go. We never really got to stop and smell the roses, as I can say. But now we finally have with COVID, and we all are slowing down, and we're realizing that the little things in life that matter the most rather than the big things in life. So I love the song. I'm going to say that. And also, awesome. There is a beer. You decided to release a beer named Simple Things. So now, was this your idea?
It was a management had brought up of working with a local company in our hometown here. And originally we were going to go a little different route with it. And then, like I said, Easter came along, this song dropped. and we were looking around. We said, okay, well, I don't know how this is going to affect your plans at the brewery, but we got a new song coming down the pipe, and if we could, figure out some way to work with it, we could offer more advertising and more of the media base that we were hoping to do with the first idea. And they came back and said, well, we've also had a little change of plans on our side, and we want to do this other brew, and it is simple. It's basic ingredients, and there's no preservatives in it. It's just a great, simple, classic lager beer. And it was just kind of one of those things that was meant to be, I guess. And it ran forward, and then we had the release on July 2nd, 3rd, somewhere in there. And it was a kickoff party. The beer was fantastic. It's getting rave reviews. It's a craft beer market. And if you can find craft beer, look up RavenWolf Brewery. They're the brewery that we're working with. And it's been a fun project and a great way to co-collaborate with local business as well.
I think I got to get my hands on this beer. I really think
we'll try our best to try and see if we can hook you up somehow.
That would be awesome. I'm a beer girl, not like a Ciroc type of girl. I guess that's the country in me, even though I'm from Toronto, which is not country at all, but it's okay. Deep down, I was born in the States, in the South somewhere. But it's really smart marketing. Simple. That's smart marketing, like on your end too. Like, so that's good thinking. And now you also released your second EP this year, Try Something Different. Now, was the goal of this EP to try something different?
Well, this one was our, I don't know how far back we go. I think this was one of the first songs that we had done with Bart McKay. And it was a song, again, that was pitched by Bart and his crew. And he says, like this, and he's got just this great ear for it all. He did that up, and after, this was pre-COVID, so we're getting on 2 years now back, because we were supposed to do the release of the album back in spring of 19. Wow. And it got postponed, obviously, because we couldn't have a big party, and we're like, oh, this isn't going to last long. And it went on and on and on. And then we're like, all right, we're having a party because, there's new songs that are out that aren't on the album. So, yeah, we released that album. And the idea behind the song and the album with Try Something Different was just that. It was, getting out of the box, working with a new producer, working with songs that I hadn't written, and just a little bit more of I don't know, I guess a little more contemporary country than the traditional country stylings that I'd been, going down already. I'm a kind of 90s country fan myself and love the classics as much, back to Conway Twitty's and Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings. But, the market's a little different. So we got to try to play the market a little bit. We're still keeping a little bit of what's true to us and myself and all that. So yeah, try something different, hit that on the nose, mostly because there's, just changes in general going along. And then with COVID, well, it just kind of fit with that too. So.
Yeah, of course. And you were just touching on 90s country. When I heard your voice, the first person that came to mind was, okay, wait, take a guess. Who do you think I'm thinking of?
I would probably, I've heard Garth Brooks, George Strait. Yeah. How those any?
I was thinking looks wise, I was going Garth Brooks, and I was thinking Alan Jackson.
That's some Alan Jackson. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I had to tell you. I had to say it. Okay, so let's get to know you a little bit more. Where are you from?
Originally, I was born and raised northwest of Calgary, Alberta.
Oh.
And now I'm living northwest of Edmonton, Alberta, about 4 hours north.
Okay, so here comes the question. Are you a Calgary fan or are you an Edmonton fan?
I'm split right up the middle. I tend to lean more towards the hockey or the rodeo and the other events other than hockey or football, so or baseball.
Okay, well that's fair. I mean, when you think of Canadians, you automatically just assume that everybody up here loves hockey, but we have our fair share who are not so fond of it, but that's fair. That's fair. If I was in your shoes, I would go with Edmonton probably just because of McDavid. But anyway,
I don't know if I'm going to have the same attraction to it, but he's a great player. I'll give him that.
Oh, I didn't mean attraction-wise. I meant player-wise. Oh, that's too funny. So, Steve,
your question doesn't say anything at all. No.
Yeah. You're hilarious. Okay, so what drew you to music? Let's get back to the music question.
Music, I think, kind of chose me. I wasn't really raised in a musical family, although years later, after I got more into music, I found out that my dad actually plays guitar fairly well, and used to play in a local band kind of thing with friends. And so that was a surprise and education to me. And then, so I guess I was probably being sung to and everything else when I was younger, but I don't really remember much of it growing up. Well, over the years, I'd taken music lessons and a number of tried different instruments over the years. And I had a band teacher that came up to me recently, and well, his son, and had mentioned that, are you sure you mean Steve Newsome? Because I failed miserably at band. I was terrible at reading music. I was terrible at following the rules and all that stuff. So, and then I was in a backcountry hunting camp. Well, not really hunting camp. It was more of a tour at that time. And a guy who was, traveling troubadour was traveling through, and he had a guitar case out with a bunch of music in there, and it was a bunch of stuff that I liked, enjoyed listening to, and it's kind of, asking him some questions like, how do you get this and how do you get that? And he showed me some little tricks and little ways to make this work, and I kind of clicked into some of the music theory that I had been taught in my past, and just kind of ran from there. It was kind of one of those light bulb moments, and I guess I would have been about 25 or 26, and then I started kind of just getting more and more into it. And the more I learned, the more I found I could play and associate with and just grow with. And then about 2012, I don't even know how old I would have been then, but 2012, I'd gotten an electric acoustic guitar from a friend, and they were kind of sick of me playing around a campfire all the time, so they figured they better put me on a stage somewhere because I wouldn't shut up. So I started doing jams and working with some other local musicians around, and then my manager and I kind of hooked up through that direction. He came down to see me, and then he says, why don't you come and open a show for me? I can't tell you who you're going to open for, and it's just a house concert. Literally, 25, 30 people, and yeah, but you'll open for somebody and you'll be blown away with who it is. So I was starting to get to that point of don't say no, and I didn't, and showed up at the place, and here's Jason McCoy sitting here in the dining room, and I got to open my first show ever for Jason McCoy. So I was blown away with that, and I caught the bug after that. Well, my management wouldn't really let me go either. They kept finding gigs for me to show up to and not say no, so I kept saying yes, and we gone on to, I don't know, that was probably about 2015, so going on 5-6 years now of working with Dog Rump Creek Music and Jazz Matthews, and his whole family is involved in it, and I've got a chance to play some bigger shows. So.
This is exactly why you take every opportunity you can get, because you never know what the door is going to open and what's going to be on the other side. You absolutely have no idea. But
absolutely.
Whatever is meant to be will be. I truly believe that. And I really believe that you were born to get into music, and that is exactly where your destiny is at. And I'm a strong believer when it comes to all of that. And I want to know, who are your influences? Who are your idols? You were kind of mentioning a couple of them before, but who are they again?
Yeah. My earlier, obviously George Strait is probably one of my earliest memories of great music and influences in my music. Garth Brooks was kind of at my 17 to 20-year-old influence years, which were, epic. I got to see him in concert later on, and the guy blows my mind. I how, I don't know what he does, keep the energy up and doing what he does on stage and still sing and keep going. That man's a machine.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, past that, it was pretty much all those traditional country guys all through, like you mentioned in Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, as over the years, somewhere in there was always Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson. Merle Haggard was always just popular, right? It was good classic music. And I just, always had them in the playlists that I had and wherever I was, CDs, cassettes, and so forth. And then Steve Earle was, a little bit more on the rockin' side of things for us, Nitty Gritty Dirt Bands, all those with harmonies and the great music. So
Garth Brooks, you were just mentioning how, like, he's nuts on stage. Like, he is, like, it looks like he just, like, popped a bunch of stuff before he just got up on stage. He's, like, crazy.
Absolutely.
When you watch him perform, do you try to incorporate, like, his energy like that into your own performance too?
I've tried, and I've had a couple opportunities where I look over and I could see a big net or something I could climb up, and it quickly passes. And energy wise, Chris Ledoux was another guy that was phenomenal. I got the chance to see him in a bar, and he jumps out on the mechanical bucking bull and goes nuts while he's singing the song still. It was crazy. And the place went wild, and I've looked at it a couple of times, and I see that bucking bull over in the corner, played Cowboys or here in town there, Cook County's got a bucking bull there, and Ranchman's used to. And it's like, man, I don't even want to get on it in the first place, to be absolutely honest. I was never a rough stuck kind of guy myself. I was always in the timed events, but it was, I couldn't fathom it, like you say, it's like they take speed or something. But the other thing about it is when you do get on stage, there's an energy that is cranked up. And I couldn't imagine, like, I've played for, say 4,000 to 7,000 people. That's a big show. There's energy in there. You drop your hat and everybody goes wild, right? Like, it was, you can't stop it. It's like gasoline and fire. It just goes.
Exactly.
But, like, for what Garth Brooks does, man alive, and still to this day, like, the guy's probably, I don't know, he's got 50-ish, somewhere in there, and he's still giving her all that hell. And, like, it's, the guy's a machine.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be 80 and he's still going to be getting up on stage like that and running back and forth and climbing things and jumping around and acting like a total nutcase. But, like, we love it. Like, we just love seeing it happen, right?
Well, yeah. Yeah, nah, he'll probably do something fancy in a wheelchair if it ever comes down to that point.
Oh, yeah, he probably would. That's a really good point. And now, Steve, one more question here. How did you keep busy during all of COVID? Just writing a lot?
We did a lot of writing. We got back to the business side of things a lot, doing a lot of music education. We kind of fast forwarded through a whole bunch of kind of essential parts of the business that we were just saying yes all the time, and we got to the point where we have to kind of get things sorted out and start doing things a little bit more professionally and run this better as a business, and not lose the passion in it. The passion's always huge, and they say business kills the passion. Well, we had the time to not worry about the passion as much as doing the business, so that worked out really well. We were going to be taking a year of hiatus from doing shows anyways, just to kind of regroup and get focused a little bit more on the business as well. So and then everybody got the time off instead of just us, so it helped a lot. But we did really get a focus on the business, getting some merch ideas going and getting that up and running. And then, maintaining that recording through it all, trying to do the writing. I also maintained a day job through it also. That helped. I had to, pay the bills and make everything kind of keep rolling. So I fell back to some of my roots and, kept on truck driving. So.
Oh, that's neat. So you're a truck driver during the day, daytime truck driver, nighttime performer.
Yeah, I'm don't let your mamas grow up to be, or don't let your babies, mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Willie, almost exactly. It's kind of scary sometimes. I look at it and I'm like, what happened there? My poor mother.
Oh, that's so funny. But I mean, see, look at that. COVID in a way worked out in your favor. In not in like you know what I mean when I say that. I don't mean like
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
No.
It was a blessing in disguise, but a lot of people did get sick. Like that's the sad part. But for people who kind of just like it got time for themselves and to focus on themselves, like you were saying with the business side of things, because majority of people, I don't think they realize there's so much that goes on behind closed doors for musicians. Like there is a business, like you said, that needs to be run, and if you're not running that properly, the show is just going to go downhill so fast. You're going to be booking this,
100%.
that. It's so much to handle at times. And now, Steve, we're going to play a game I like to call Country with Celine Rapid Fire. Okay?
All right.
Okay. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is your favorite movie? I feel like it's a Western movie, but I could be wrong.
That is a tough one, actually. I'd have to put somewhere in between Top Gun and Lonesome Dove.
Okay. I actually know those. What is your favorite type of food?
I go with probably lasagna or steak.
Okay. What's your background?
It's a mix. I got a Métis in me is most of it, and German as well. So.
Oh, okay. That's neat. And what is your favorite saying?
Oh goodness, that's what are we gonna do with this?
Okay, that's a saying, so it works.
Yeah.
And the last one is, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Don't give up. Keep one foot in front of the other and don't give up.
Don't give up. That is the motto that we all need to live by. Just keep on trucking forward, right?
Indeed.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much, Steve, for joining me today on Country with Celine. It was so awesome having you here. And everybody, go stream Simple Things. It is out now. Thanks again, Steve.
Well, thank you, Celine. Thank you for doing all you're doing.
Yeah, when guys like me get caught in a rut, gotta give it a break, gotta shake a few things up. Pour this can in a cup, might even drop a lime in it. Tonight is high time to try something different. Try something different.